Press conference in relation to Senate Bill 10. It's the pretrial release of eliminating the money bail system here in California for a system that's run currently in Washington, D.C. as well as New Jersey. Pretrial assessment system that removes money from the release of on bail, on bond. A little background, this is a part of a situation that's happened in California. Unfortunately, the legislature has gone into a realm of pre-release, early release, of those who have been convicted of criminals, such as AB 109 that passed a couple of years back. Also with Prop 47, there's been a reduction of some of the felonies have been reduced to misdemeanors, which have brought about an interesting situation when it comes to early release here in California. I'd like to read a letter that has been written by crime survivors, Patricia Wenskinas, with regards to SB 10, and it says, and this is to the California legislature. It says, Dear California legislator, crime survivors works in your community to make victims' rights a top priority. We facilitate communication and cooperation across various public service, government, and nonprofit organizations to ensure that victims' rights are understood and that the services victims are entitled to are received. We oppose SB 10 for the following reasons. Public safety and the safety of the victim are the primary considerations when determining eligibility for our own recognizance release. This bill mistakenly elevates the defendant's right to the presumption of innocence above the rights of crime victims. According to the Alliance of California Judges, both the United States and California Supreme Courts have long maintained that the presumption of innocence has no application to a determination of the bill, to the determination of the rights of a pretrial detainee during confinement before his trial has even begun. This bill will increase crime because it will eliminate pretrial detention for dangerous defendants. SB 10 would effectively eliminate pretrial detention for almost all defendants, including dangerous repeat offenders. It will result in a revolving door of released defendants who will continue to either victimize members of communities or will fail to return to court, thus barring the victim from being heard and delaying the healing process. It will shield hardened criminals under the guise of protecting the poor. Nevada Governor Sandoval recently vetoed bail reform in Nevada because no conclusive evidence has been presented showing that the risk assessment methods are effective in determining when it may or may not be appropriate to release a criminal defendant without requiring bail. For victims, justice delayed is often justice denied. This bill will increase failures to appear for court hearings and will eliminate bail, which is effective at making defendants appear in court. By the time the absconding defendant is caught and brought to court, evidence may be lost or spoiled, witnesses may no longer be available, and memories may have faded. This will result in the frustration of justice and the probable dismissal of the case, thereby allowing these high-risk defendants back into our communities where they can victimize someone else. Now we'd like to turn over the mic over to Beth Chapman. Would it be Jesse? To Jesse, Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, and I am founder and president of BOND, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. And our purpose is to rebuild the family by rebuilding the man. And we're putting fathers and mothers back together, especially in the inner cities around the country. I am against SB 10, and everyone that I work with in the minority communities are against this because it will increase the crime rate in the black communities and Hispanic communities around the country, and especially here in California. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that crime in the inner cities are out of control now. And there are a lot of single mothers who are very concerned about this bill because many of them want, when their kids or young men or daughters commit these crimes, they want them in jail for a while, give them a chance to think about what they've done. give them a chance if they're on drugs to overcome that. If they're drug dealers, to think about the crime that they're committing. And if you let these people out during the so-called free trial, it is only going to increase that. So a lot of mothers are very, very concerned about this. Right now in the minority communities, drug dealing, violent crime, and sexual predators are imposing their crimes upon the communities. And a lot of people are afraid to snitch. They're afraid to give out information to the police when they come to investigate, or investigators when they come to investigate these crimes. And knowing that these people are going to get out with this so-called free trial is going to put even more fear into people who are witnessing these crimes. The unfortunate thing is that the rich folks with money who are supporting SB 10 really are proving that they don't care about the minority communities at all. Because if they did, they would take this money that they're using to support this bill and train the minority community in the area of jobs, employment. The job rates, employment in the minority communities are out of control. This money can go toward training them in the areas of jobs. Most of these people, well, all really, who are being released or will be released, are not going to end up behind the gated communities. Those people are protected. They're going to end up in those communities where single mothers are raising children by themselves. The father's not around, so you don't have a lot of protection for the single mothers. And there are mothers already who are coming in for work late at night or leaving early in the mornings, and they are being attacked in their driveways. Their daughters are walking to schools and they are being attacked. SB 10 will increase that even more so. And so if these people care anything about the minority community, they would not support SB 10. It doesn't make sense. It's not good for the community, and we're insisting that this bill is not supported.
Good afternoon. I'm Beth Chapman. I'm the president of the Professional Bail Agents of the United States. I represent 15,000 bail agents nationwide. We are involved in the national bail reform movement. We are witnessing the release of so-called minor crimes all across the country that are giving devastating effects. This bill has been pushed along by Assemblyman Bonta and Senator Hertzberg, and both of those gentlemen continue to say that people are languishing in jail because they're poor. And we need to remind folks, people are not in jail because they're poor, they're in jail because they broke the law or because they hurt someone, and that they had probable cause to believe that they needed to be brought in and to be protected both from themselves and from the community. The actual devastating effects from these bills are being felt every day in New Jersey. There are people dying in the streets. There are people children being lured into child molesters' homes. There are repeat offenders being released to only rob again day in, day out. There has been several robberies here in California. There have been 14 specific robberies in the state of California that have revolved around people who are celebrities and people who are high-profile people. You know, folks like David Spade and the Los Angeles Lakers, and also, you know, the Dodgers. Recently, one of the devastating effects of the New Jersey bail reform is an individual by the name of Dina Manzo. She was beaten within an inch of her life. She and her boyfriend were both victimized in their home when they came home to someone who was trying to burglarize their home when they were not there. When they came home and found the assailant in their home, they were beaten unbelievably. These bills are bad. These bills are bad. When AB 109 came along, the state of California went along with those things. They released 6,000 people from jail. Crime has done nothing but steadily increase. Property crimes have gone up in every county across California. And as you're witnessing now, your gas taxes are raising, and soon your property taxes will be raising. Someone has to pay for this very expensive release. This release will cost the state of California somewhere in the area of $200 million. There is no way that a state the size of California can pull off something like they did in New Jersey. New Jersey is a fraction of the size of California, but the devastating effects that have gone on in New Jersey are shameful. When people are victimized to this point where they cannot function, where they're debilitated by their fear, when people cannot rest sure at night that the person who just robbed their home is being held in jail, there is something wrong with our community. We as a community have to stand up to legislators like Hertzberg and Bonta, and we have to push back and we have to say no. We have had enough. AB 109 was bad, Prop 47 was worse, Prop 57 really put the nail in the coffin. And if you look at the trend of these things, when they reduced all of these crimes in Prop 57, they reduced crimes like rape of an intoxicated person is now a misdemeanor. First and second degree stalking is now a misdemeanor. Giving a gun to a known gang member is now a misdemeanor. Bringing a bomb to a school is now a misdemeanor. We have to take a step back, and we have to tell our legislators in this state that we are not going for this social justice reform, because it is nothing more than that. They have set up 109, 47, and 57. We need to give those things a chance to work. And if they don't work, then we need to start looking at the larger problem. In this state, you have a bail schedule problem. There is a different bond set for every county in the state. They need to come together, they need to put in reasonable bail, they need to put in reasonable parameters, such as, if you are on bond already, you should not get another bond. If you have been convicted of a felony in the last couple of years, you should not get a free bond. Free bonds should not be unlimited. You should not be able to commit 5 and 10 crimes a day, get PR bonds for all of those things, and continue your life of crime. I think that the legislators in our town have been duped, and I think that the criminal element of our community is laughing at them and thinking, how stupid are these people to let all of us run free? If you care about your community, you need to keep California safe. We need to do common sense parameters. We need to tell our legislators that SB 10 is bad for us and that we don't want this in our communities.
Hi, okay, let's go behind all those leaders. Hi, my name is Dwayne Dog Chapman, also known as Dog Bounty Hunter, and I'm Beth's husband. I'm the water boy of this organization.
Sure.
In other words, I'm the guy that puts the fires out. So what they're saying is that instead of going to a bondsman and having to pay 10% of a bond, which is a deterrent, you get out free. There's an old saying, if you do the crime, you better do the time. Now that saying in California and in New Jersey is, do the crime, there ain't no time. California's tough on crime. They won't let Charlie Manson out. California's one of the only states that made the laws, 3 strikes, brother, and you're out. We just were victorious in a bill exactly like this last month by 1 vote. Then all of a sudden, this exact same bill comes up sneakily again. We just left New Jersey, where the 2 senators that are talking about this, well, New Jersey, it's working. No, it's not. I sat down yesterday for breakfast in New Jersey with one of the assemblymen that helped pass the New Jersey law, and he said to me, Dog, this is not working. We need to go back to the drawing board, and I will give you a letter to say to the California leaders that this is not working. Is there poor people in jail? Yes. For what kind of crime? If you're poor and you rape someone, oh well, you rape someone. Is there people in jail because they stole for food to feed their children? Not too many. So what these guys are doing is working on people's heartstrings. The jails are not full of minority people that don't have money to get out, because the bail bonds community will get together and get them out. This is unbelievable. In 37 years, I've arrested over 8,000 fugitives. I know what I'm talking about, because guess what? In the 70s, I was one of them. If I wouldn't have had a bail bondsman to report to, if I wouldn't have had a bounty hunter to know that if I take off, he's going to track me down, I would not be Dog the Bounty Hunter today. Let me talk real quick about bounty hunting. Bounty hunters in America arrest every day 85% of the violent criminals. This will eliminate bounty hunters and put all the work back on the sheriff's department and the police departments. You can ask any sheriff or cop in this state, do you like this bill? They say no. If they arrest you, if they arrest someone, say for possession of a firearm, before the cop gets home, they're released for free. You think that cop's gonna arrest him again tomorrow? Bail bond is a deterrent. It's in the United States Constitution. Back in the day when Abraham Lincoln was alive, let's say your bond was $100 and no one could afford it. So the legislature, senators, back then set up a 10% fee. Instead of $100, you could pay $10, but they wanted someone financially responsible for your action and if you came back to court. When Beth and I and my family and the bounty hunters in California go arrest someone, we charge the taxpayers 0.00. The taxpayers do not have to pay for it. We have programs. We know what we're doing. We work 24 hours a day. Pretrial services, as being off at 5 o'clock Monday through Friday, guess what? They don't work on the weekends. This bill is terrible. I can't believe this is happening, but I know California will not be duped into this hug-a-thug program. We're all into rehabilitation. Get the guy out and make him change his life, not hope he will. Thank you very much. We need the public support. Remember, like I said, just ask any cop you know, is this the right thing to do? And you'll get an answer from law enforcement. Thank you.
Any questions at all? If you do have any questions, you can contact us directly. You can contact me at Raul.
Let me just say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here you go. You know, I do want to add that this is a very serious issue. For the last 27 years, I've been working with young black men and women, and I have to tell you, I haven't met one poor person in jail yet. They're going to jail because they're committing these crimes, and to let them out is a big letdown to the black community because they're going to come back and commit the same crime over and even worse. And this bill shows a lack of love and concern for the minority community. This isn't really, when I think about it, it is an outrage to the community itself. What blacks and Hispanics need in their communities is not no more, more crime. They need job training. They need jobs. They need families. They need protection. And this bill will not protect the minority community. And again, I think that it's a shame that the Senate Appropriation Committee is allowing this to happen. They said that it would cost hundreds of millions of dollars to implement this. Spend that money on improving the communities and not destroying the communities. Crime and drug and rape is out of control. And this is just going to make it worse. The more we get the message out to the community, this will become an outrage. This is not good. And one last thing, I do want to repeat that witness intimidation is already a problem in the minority community. You're not going to have anyone reporting crime if this bill is passed because they're going to be afraid, even more so. The criminals going into the jail and coming right out, they're going to look for those folks who have snitched on them. This is going to hurt the minority community in a bad way. I'm very, very, very concerned about this and against this bill 100%.
And just as a quick follow-up for me, unaccountable bail has not worked across the country. It has had devastating effects. But not just that, is that, we're having basically our parenting skills taken from us because we as parents know what our kids are into. And we know that sometimes it takes an act of the law to stop them from what they're doing. And it should be our decision as to when we take them out of jail, when we think they've had enough, and when we think that they should get their second chance. It should not be the job of a bureaucrat who just unilaterally just decides that this person should get out, oh, they're poor. You know, the Hug a Thug campaign is not going to work. And I can only assure you that if this bill passes, as you have seen the devastating effects as AB 109 and Prop 47 and Prop 57, this will be yet another California failure. And I think that at this point, we need every constituent, every person who has a voice in the state of California to please call your legislators and tell them that SB 10 is bad for you and that you do not want to be a part of this and you do not want this passed here. You want accountability brought back to our community, and we need to have safety in our streets. This is keeping California safe, and as SB 10 is a failure, please oppose SB 10. And could you take a, are you done?